Welcome to the Daily Globe. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon for more breaking updates in the grand theater of global power. Every move is watched, every gesture analyzed, and every decision can send ripples across continents. The world is a chessboard and the pieces are always in motion, sometimes subtly, sometimes with a thunderous impact that cannot be ignored. Sometimes a single move can shake the world, upending expectations and rewriting the rules of engagement. Today, we witness such a moment that will be remembered as a turning point in the balance of power across the Western Hemisphere. On September 25, 2025, Venezuela has taken a bold step onto the global stage, acquiring a squadron of J-10C vigorous Dragon fighter jets from China. This is not just a routine military purchase, it is a statement, a signal to the world that the old order is being challenged. For the first time in history, a modern Chinese fighter jet will be stationed in the Americas. This move directly challenges a century of US military and political dominance in the region, sending shockwaves through diplomatic and defense circles from Washington to Beijing. For Venezuela, it's a bold assertion of sovereignty, a declaration that it will chart its own course, regardless of pressure from traditional powers. The government frames this as a leap forward in national defense and a symbol of independence, rallying its people around a vision of strength and self-determination. For China, this is a dramatic expansion of influence into a region long considered America's backyard. It's a demonstration of Beijing's growing reach, not just economically, but militarily. A clear message that China is now a global player, willing to project power far from its own shores. For the United States, this development is an urgent security concern. The presence of advanced Chinese military technology so close to home raises questions about regional stability, intelligence gathering, and the future of US alliances in Latin America. American officials are now forced to reconsider their strategies and relationships in the hemisphere. Tonight, we'll explore how this unprecedented deal came to be, the complex web of diplomacy and ambition behind it, and what it means for the future of the region. We'll examine the motivations, the risks, and the potential consequences for all players involved as a new era of global rivalry dawns. This is more than a story about fighter jets or military hardware. It's about a shifting world order, the forging of new and formidable partnerships, and the emergence of a multipolar world where old certainties no longer hold. The Dragon has landed in the Americas, casting a long shadow over the future. The world is watching and nothing will ever be quite the same again. For decades, Venezuela's Air Force stood as a powerful symbol of its close relationship with the United States. The country's pilots soared through the skies in American-made F-16 fighter jets, a testament to the trust and cooperation between Caracas and Washington. Joint training exercises were common, with Venezuelan and US airmen working side by side, sharing tactics and building bonds that seemed unbreakable at the time. These F-16s, sleek and formidable, became the pride of Venezuela's military, representing not just advanced technology but also a strategic partnership with the world's leading superpower. The Air Force's capabilities were at their peak and Venezuela was seen as a key US ally in the region. But everything changed with the rise of Hugo Chavez. His anti-US rhetoric and policies led to a dramatic shift in foreign relations. The United States responded with an arms embargo, cutting off vital support and spare parts. Venezuela's once mighty F-16 fleet was soon left grounded, aging and increasingly obsolete, unable to keep up with regional rivals. Facing a critical gap in its air defense, Caracas was forced to look elsewhere. Turning to Russia, Venezuela acquired advanced Su-30 Mk-2 fighters, marking the beginning of a new era. This move not only modernized its air force, but also cemented a strategic alliance with Moscow, shifting the balance of power in South America. However, the partnership with Russia soon faced its own challenges. The outbreak of war in Ukraine and the imposition of sweeping international sanctions severely limited Russia's ability to provide maintenance, spare parts, and technical support for Venezuela's fleet. The Su-30s, once a symbol of renewed strength, now risked becoming just as vulnerable as the F-16s before them. As a result, Venezuela found itself in a precarious position. Its air force weakened, its options dwindling, and its leaders urgently searching for a new reliable partner to restore its military capabilities and national pride. This desperate search opened the door for China, a rising global power eager to expand its influence in Latin America. With advanced J-10 fighters and promises of long-term support, China offered Venezuela a lifeline and a chance to reshape its security future. Venezuela's journey from American eagles to Russian bears has now led to the dragon's embrace, marking a dramatic transformation in the nation's military alliances and the geopolitical landscape of South America. As Western ties crumbled and Russia faltered, China quietly deepened its relationship with Venezuela. Beijing provided loans, bought oil, and supplied military equipment, starting with K-8 trainer jets in 2006. Over time, Chinese radars, transport aircraft, and other systems became vital to Venezuela's military. US sanctions, meant to isolate Caracas, instead pushed it into China's orbit, making Beijing the lender, buyer, and arms dealer of last resort. This growing military partnership laid the groundwork for the J-10 deal, a move that now challenges the security fabric of the Western Hemisphere. The unintended consequence: China's influence in Venezuela is now deeper and more strategic than ever. The axis is set and the world is watching. In July 2025, it became official. Venezuela would acquire a squadron of Chengdu J-10 fighters from China. Each jet, worth around $40 million, is financed through a loans for oil deal, leveraging Venezuela's resources for advanced weaponry. The package includes pilot training, advanced munitions, and long-term technical support, ensuring the J-10Cs won't suffer the fate of Venezuela's grounded F-16s. For Maduro, it's a symbol of resilience and defiance. For China, a strategic foothold in America's backyard. The deal sent shockwaves through the region and Washington, signaling a new era in South American military power. Beyond rhetoric, this is a calculated move to modernize Venezuela's air force and secure a technological edge. The Dragon's arrival is a game changer. The J-10 Vigorous Dragon is no export knockoff. It's a true 4.5 generation multi-role fighter, rivaling the best Western jets. Its AESA radar gives pilots unmatched situational awareness, tracking multiple targets and resisting jamming. Armed with PL-15 long-range missiles, the J-10 can strike adversaries from over 200 kilometers away, well before they know they're in danger. Its precision-guided bombs and air-to-surface missiles make it a formidable strike platform, not just an air superiority fighter. For Venezuela, this means a leap in power projection and deterrence, fundamentally altering the military calculus in the Caribbean. The J-10's arrival marks a new era of capability for the region. The balance of power has shifted. Maduro's decision to buy the J-10 is driven by urgent necessity. Venezuela's air force is aging, and its Russian and American jets are unreliable. The fleet has been plagued by maintenance issues and a lack of spare parts, making it difficult to keep the aircraft operational. This has left Venezuela vulnerable to both internal and external threats. US military maneuvers and recent confrontations in the Caribbean have given Maduro the perfect pretext to frame the purchase as self-defense. The presence of US forces so close to Venezuelan waters has heightened tensions and provided a convenient justification for bolstering the country's military capabilities. Politically, the deal projects strength and stability, rallying support at home and within the military. It sends a message to both allies and adversaries that Venezuela is prepared to defend itself and is not isolated on the global stage. It's also a strategic pivot. With Russia's support faltering, Venezuela needs a new ally. The economic and political instability in Russia has made it an unreliable partner, forcing Venezuela to look elsewhere for support. China offers a stable, sanction-proof partnership. Unlike Russia, China has the economic strength and political stability to provide long-term support to Venezuela, making it an attractive ally. The J-10 deal is more than a military upgrade. It represents a significant shift in Venezuela's foreign policy. By aligning more closely with China, Venezuela is diversifying its international relationships and reducing its dependency on any single country. It's a realignment of Venezuela's security dependency from Moscow to Beijing. This move is not just about acquiring new jets, it's about securing a more reliable and powerful ally in the global arena. This move turns a vulnerability into a political victory for Maduro. By securing the J-10 deal, he can claim to have strengthened Venezuela's defense capabilities and secure the nation's sovereignty. For China, it's a chance to expand its influence in the Americas. This deal allows China to establish a stronger presence in a region traditionally dominated by US influence. The timing couldn't be more significant. As global power dynamics shift, this deal marks a pivotal moment in the geopolitical landscape, with far-reaching implications for the future. The arrival of Chinese J-10s in Venezuela is a geopolitical earthquake. Venezuela now holds a technological edge over neighbors like Colombia and Brazil, likely triggering a regional arms race. For the US, this is a direct challenge to the Monroe Doctrine and a strategic provocation by China. Analysts warn of Chinese advisors and trainers arriving in Venezuela, creating a persistent security headache for Washington. Maduro gains a powerful patron and greater autonomy, but also risks making Venezuela a pawn in a global rivalry. The region is now more militarized and volatile, with higher risks of miscalculation and escalation. The Caribbean has become a contested and dangerous space. The stakes have never been higher. Analysts agree. This deal is a turning point for the region. Venezuela's pivot to China signals a fundamental realignment, with Beijing now its primary strategic guarantor. China's rise as a global arms supplier is filling the void left by Russia, offering advanced, affordable jets to nations under sanctions. The J-10 sees capabilities, AESA radar and PL-15 missiles give Venezuela a standoff reach it never had, forcing adversaries to rethink their strategies. For the US, this is a direct provocation that demands a response, be it sanctions, military presence, or diplomacy. Venezuela is now an active front in the US-China rivalry. The hemisphere has entered a new, more dangerous chapter. The world is watching how America will respond. Why does this matter to you? Because it's a sign that the world order is shifting and the Americas are now a front line in global competition. China's growing reach and the US-China rivalry have real consequences, more instability, arms races and new flashpoints. The Caribbean, once a quiet corridor, is now a potential hotspot with global implications. US policies meant to isolate Venezuela have instead opened the door for China, raising tough questions about the effectiveness of sanctions. This moment demands informed, careful analysis, not knee-jerk reactions. As citizens, it's our responsibility to stay engaged and understand the stakes. The dragon's shadow has fallen across the Americas. How we respond will shape the future.